Do you find that the constant stream of thoughts that you have in your mind is making you feel overwhelmed? When it comes to this experience, you are not alone. The ability to think clearly and with concentration can feel like a rare superpower in the modern world, which moves at a breakneck pace. On the other hand, there is hope. The ancient Stoics, who were masters of the mind, have provided a treasure map that can be used to navigate mental fog and unlock inner clarity. The purpose of this video is to examine 11 powerful Stoic lessons that have the potential to alter your way of thinking and bring about a life that is more satisfying. It is not just a collection of philosophical ideas, rather, it is a set of practical tools that you can employ in order to achieve greater mental clarity and peace. You can stay up to date with each video as we delve deeper into each transformative lesson by subscribing to our channel right now and activating the notification bell. Consider becoming a member of our community of students and contributing your thoughts and experiences to the comments section below. During our journey toward more clear thinking, we can provide each other with support and encouragement. Accepting doubt and questioning assumptions is the first lesson we will learn. The Stoics possess a profound understanding of the human condition and its circumstances. According to their beliefs, the key to achieving true wisdom is to acknowledge the vastness of the things that we do not know. Seneca made the observation that anticipation can prevent us from taking action, which may appear to be contrary to common sense for some people. When we continue to cling to preconceived notions without challenging them, we construct mental barriers that prevent us from seeing things clearly and responding in an efficient manner. Therefore, what are some ways that we can liberate ourselves from these limitations that we have imposed on ourselves and cultivate the clear thinking that the Stoics advocated for? The solution lies in being open to doubt and challenging the assumptions that we have made in this manner. Deconstructing our initial thoughts is the first step that we need to take. Due to the limited information available and the inherent biases that we all possess, our brains are able to generate quick judgments. Despite the fact that these initial thoughts might appear to be intuitive, they may be flawed. Through the process of asking ourselves what evidence supports this thought, we are able to challenge them. Are there other points of view that I still need to take into consideration? Could it be that my preconceived notions are driving my interpretation? Through the process of actively questioning our initial thoughts, we are able to chip away at the cognitive biases that cloud our judgment and cause us to come to the wrong conclusions. Subsequently, we ought to look for voices that disagree with us. Our tendency to surround ourselves with people who share our views can lead to the formation of echo chambers, which in turn reinforce our preconceived notions. We ought to make it a point to actively seek out diverse perspectives, opposing viewpoints, challenging arguments, and experiences that are foreign to us in order to broaden our understanding of the world and expose ourselves to blind spots in our thinking. The third thing that we need to do is acknowledge the power of what-if questions. Instead of taking things at face value, we ought to investigate different possible outcomes, take into account the possibilities of unintended consequences, and question the current state of affairs. Because of our mental agility, we are able to anticipate problems and make decisions that are significantly more informed. Fourthly, we have the option of engaging in devil's advocacy. It is possible for us to recognize errors and counter-arguments that may be associated with our thoughts and beliefs. Through the use of this self-examination, which is based on the Stoic practice of negative visualization, our arguments are strengthened and logical fallacies are brought to light. The final point is that we ought to take pleasure in intellectual humility. In order to truly possess wisdom, we must first recognize the boundaries of our understanding and then be willing to modify our beliefs in response to new information or points of view. Being intellectually humble is the cornerstone of clear thinking and learning that continues throughout one's life. Remember that challenging assumptions is not about cultivating self-doubt, rather, it is about empowering ourselves to think critically and make decisions that are well-reasoned. This is an important piece of information to keep in mind. By adhering to these Stoic principles, we can open the door to a mind that is more open and sharp, one that is prepared to navigate the complexities of the world with wisdom and grace. Therefore, let us embark on this journey of intellectual exploration, question with all our might, and find out what our thinking is truly capable of accomplishing. This is the second lesson: define your values and your goals. Now picture yourself embarking on a journey across a vast ocean without any tools to help you navigate the journey. You wouldn't know where you were going or what direction you were going in because you would be at the mercy of the shifting winds and currents. If, on the other hand, you were equipped with a trustworthy compass and had a specific destination in mind, you would be able to navigate with purpose, even in the most difficult of circumstances. This highlights the significance of having well-defined values and objectives. They act as both a compass and a map, directing you successfully through the unpredictability of life's currents. Stoicism was a philosophical school that placed a strong emphasis on introspection and living a life with a purpose. As stated by Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, live each day diligently. Examine yourself. He was aware of the significance of introspection and having a clear purpose in order to successfully navigate the complexities of life. In order to chart your own course, you must first embark on a journey of self-discovery and then ensure that you adhere to certain principles. To begin, you need to conduct an in-depth examination of your core beliefs and determine what is truly important to you. It's possible that this is something entirely different, such as compassion, creativity, or even integrity. Consider your past experiences, feelings, and goals in order to identify the fundamental principles that guide your life. Even when you are confronted with difficulties, this will assist you in establishing a foundation for decision-making that is in accordance with your fundamental principles. As soon as you have a firm grasp on your principles, you will be able to transform them into tangible objectives and objectives. Think about your long-term goals as well as your shorter-term, more manageable objectives. It is important to ask yourself what kinds of experiences you want, what kinds of skills and knowledge you want to cultivate, and what kinds of meaningful contributions you want to make to the world. Clearly defining your objectives will provide you with both direction and motivation. Instead of letting external pressures or fleeting desires influence your goals, it is essential to make sure that they are in line with your core values. Have you considered whether or not your objectives are congruent with your most fundamental principles, whether or not achieving them will add to your sense of purpose and fulfillment, and whether or not you are willing to make sacrifices and confront difficulties in order to accomplish them? In conclusion, it is of the utmost importance to embrace flexibility because life is not a predetermined destination, but rather a dynamic journey. Be ready to adjust your objectives as you gain knowledge and experience. Course adjustments might be required if new experiences, unanticipated challenges, and shifting values are taken into consideration. Exhibit a willingness to be flexible and maintain an openness to change while remaining true to your fundamental principles. When it comes to realigning one's values and objectives, the Stoics can serve as a source of motivation. The writings of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca can provide guidance on how to engage in self-reflection, live a life driven by a purpose, and experience equanimity when confronted with the challenges that life presents. Being able to articulate your values and objectives is not a one-time occurrence, but rather an ongoing process. You are able to plot a course toward a journey that is both authentic and fulfilling if you engage in consistent self-reflection, adapt to changing circumstances, and use the Stoics' ancient wisdom as a guide. Therefore, set sail with self-assurance, as you are aware that your principles and objectives serve as your compass, directing you toward a life that is rich in significance and purpose. Awareness of cognitive biases is the third and final lesson. Imagine that you are navigating through a thick forest while your compass is not working properly. At each and every turn, you are exposed to a risk, which leads you further into uncharted space. Compasses are not always reliable, and unfortunately, our brains are not always reliable either. The mental shortcuts that they use are referred to as cognitive biases, and they have the potential to distort reality and lead us astray. We need to be conscious of these biases and work to lessen the impact they have on our decisions, just like the Stoics did when they carefully examined their judgments. There are patterns of deviation from rational thinking that are known as cognitive biases. However, despite the fact that they speed up the processing of information, they also have the potential to cause errors and distortions in our judgment. In order to combat the following common biases, here are some examples. Have you ever encountered the phenomenon known as confirmation bias, in which we have a tendency to selectively select information that bolsters our perspective while disregarding everything that contradicts it? It is a cognitive bias known as confirmation bias, which is something that all humans experience. It has the potential to obscure our perception of reality and prevent us from making rational choices. Therefore, it is of the utmost importance to be aware of it and to conquer it whenever it is possible. Seek out perspectives that are contrary to your own and question the assumptions you have made. Take the time to read articles that present contrasting viewpoints, engage in civil discourse, and think about alternative explanations. We overestimate the probability of events based on examples that are easily accessible to us, which is known as the availability bias. By way of illustration, if you watch the news and see a plane crash, it may cause you to fear flying, despite the fact that flying is statistically safe. Instead of relying solely on vivid anecdotes, you should base your judgments on facts and statistics. Prior to arriving at conclusions, it is important to collect exhaustive data and take into account the larger context. As a result of anchoring bias, we tend to place an excessive amount of weight on the very first piece of information that we come across and use it as a foundation for our subsequent evaluations. It is possible, for instance, that an initial discount will make a product appear to be more valuable than it actually is. It is important to keep in mind starting points and initial offers. Before making a decision, it is important to gather a variety of data points. Conduct an objective comparison of the prices, features, and benefits. Bandwagon effect: we have a tendency to adopt beliefs or behaviors because others do, regardless of whether or not they are valuable in and of themselves. It is possible that this will cause us to follow trends or participate in groupthink, even if doing so goes against our own personal judgment. Give some serious consideration to the reasons behind your beliefs. Before blindly following the crowd, remember to take into consideration your own beliefs and evidence. We tend to favor members of our group family, friends, and co-workers over individuals from other groups, even when the circumstances do not warrant it. This is an example of in-group bias. Be conscious of the groups to which you belong and the potential influence they could have. It is more important to evaluate individuals based on their actions and merit than on their membership in a group. Keep in mind that gaining an understanding of these biases is only the first step. Similar to Epictetus, the Stoics placed a strong emphasis on taking personal responsibility for our decisions. Participate in the process of actively analyzing biases by actively seeking out diverse perspectives, objectively evaluating evidence, and practicing critical thinking. By doing so, we cultivate thinking that is both clear and objective, which enables us to make decisions that are sensible, and to navigate the complexities of life with a greater degree of wisdom and insight. Beginning this journey of self-awareness and mental clarity is therefore something you should do. By arming yourself with knowledge of cognitive biases, you can chart your course toward a future that is more informed and discriminating, much like a skilled navigator would correct a faulty compass. The fourth lesson is to collect evidence and look for views from a variety of sources. Put yourself in the position of having to form an opinion about a complicated matter based solely on a single news article or a conversation with someone who shares your views. Imagine you are attempting to create a masterpiece using only one color. You might be able to capture a portion of the truth, but you won't be able to see the entire picture. Because the Stoics placed a high value on reason and logic, they were aware of the significance of taking into account a variety of viewpoints. Similarly, we ought to do the same in our contemporary world. What are the reasons that it is so vital to look for different points of view? We have a tendency to take shortcuts, and our brains tend to favor information that confirms our beliefs while ignoring evidence from other sources. This results in the formation of echo chambers, which serve to reinforce our perspectives without ever testing them. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "It is not the event itself that troubles us, but our views about it." We can broaden our understanding of any topic by actively seeking out a wide variety of options or alternative perspectives on the matter. When we expose ourselves to a variety of perspectives, we not only increase our knowledge but also become aware of subtleties and complexities that we might not have considered otherwise. Discovering our prejudices when we interact with people who have different points of view, we are better able to recognize our own preconceived notions and prejudices. Because of this self-awareness, we are able to conduct a more critical evaluation of our thinking and lessen the impact of our unconscious biases. The foundation of our beliefs is strengthened when we arrive at conclusions that are founded on an exhaustive investigation of evidence and points of view. This results in our beliefs being more robust. We are able to develop intellectual resilience, sharpen our arguments, and identify potential weaknesses when we engage in debates that are conducted with respect. The question now is, how can we actively seek out different points of view? The following are some steps that can be taken in practice. Consult credible sources, look for a variety of news outlets, academic journals, and expert opinions that represent different methodologies and points of view. Be conscious of the phenomenon known as confirmation bias, and actively seek out information that contradicts your beliefs. Don't be afraid to have conversations with people who have different points of view. Instead, dialogue should be conducted with respect. Engage in active listening, ask questions, and make an effort to comprehend their points of view, even if you do not agree with them. Always keep in mind that respectful dialogue is not about winning but rather about learning and growing together. Accept and embrace a wide range of forms of media. Investigate documentaries, podcasts, and books that present distinctive points of view on a variety of subjects. In order to broaden your perspective of the world and to challenge your assumptions, you should immerse yourself in a variety of cultures and experiences. In order to challenge your echo chamber, you should step outside of your comfort zones and social media circles. You should look for communities that have a variety of perspectives and participate in conversations that are constructive. Keep in mind that intellectual development frequently takes place outside of the familiar. The act of gathering evidence and seeking diverse perspectives does not mean that you are giving up your beliefs. Rather, it is about enhancing your understanding, recognizing the complexity of the world, and cultivating intellectual humility. As you embark on this journey, it is important to keep in mind the words of Seneca, a Stoic philosopher. The truth will never injure you, no matter how harsh it may seem. Embrace the challenge, broaden your horizons, and weave a tapestry of understanding that reflects the multifaceted nature of reality. You will be able to cultivate clear thinking and navigate the complexities of life with greater wisdom and insight if you have an open mind and a thirst for knowledge. Lesson number 5. Take a moment to pause and think. Consider the experience of traversing a treacherous mountain pass in the middle of the night. It is imperative that each and every step be measured, deliberate, and founded on careful observation. In this fast-paced world, it is simple to act in a hasty manner. On the other hand, just as haste can be hazardous in a perilous mountain pass, it can also result in disastrous consequences in our day-to-day relationships and interactions. The Stoics, who were known for their ability to exercise self-control and take deliberate action, understood the immense value of taking time to pause and reflect. The famous Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius once said, "Don't waste time debating what a good man should be one." In the modern context, his advice can be translated to mean that we shouldn't get lost in debates but instead act with deliberate choice. Why should one take the time to pause and think about things? It is important to be able to think clearly because, in the midst of the chaos that is our everyday lives, we frequently react rashly, relying on reflexive and automatic responses. Because of this, decisions may be made in a hurry, opportunities may be lost, and unintended consequences may occur. The incorporation of mindful reflection into our decision-making process can result in a number of advantages for us. A more precise comprehension of the circumstance, our hasty decision-making may prevent us from fully comprehending the context, gathering the information that is necessary, and taking into consideration all of the available options. By allowing ourselves some time to reflect, we are able to examine the situation from a variety of perspectives, recognize the potential complexities, and gain a deeper understanding of the problem. Decisions that are made in the heat of the moment and are fueled by strong emotions can be clouded and short-sighted. This reduced emotional influence can help prevent this from happening. By slowing down, we are able to disengage from the immediate emotional charge, which enables us to evaluate the situation in a manner that is more rational and calm. The identification of potential consequences when we are in a hurry, we frequently fail to recognize the wider repercussions that our decisions may have. Being able to anticipate possible outcomes, anticipate unintended consequences, and make decisions that are in line with our long-term goals and values are all made possible through the process of reflection. By pausing and reflecting, we are able to gain valuable insights into our thought patterns, biases, and emotional triggers, which is an important step in the cultivation of self-awareness. Self-awareness gives us the ability to live our lives in accordance with our authentic selves and principles, which in turn enables us to make decisions that are congruent with our inner being. However, what are some ways that we can incorporate this practice into our hectic lives? Setting aside specific time for reflection, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, is one of the helpful steps that can be taken. Here are some practical steps. Schedule reflection time. Take advantage of this time to write in a journal, get some meditation in, or just sit quietly and think about your experiences and thoughts. Ask yourself guiding questions before making a decision. Take a moment to ask yourself questions like, did I think of all the possible choices and what could happen if I pick one over the others? Or does this decision align with my values and goals? Seek external perspectives. Discuss your thoughts and concerns with trusted friends, mentors, or professionals. The feedback they provide can be extremely helpful, and their insights can broaden your perspective. The cultivation of a mindful approach to decision-making can be accomplished through the practice of mindfulness. Some examples of mindfulness exercises include deep breathing and being present in the moment. Because of this, we are able to detach ourselves from rash responses and make decisions that are more deliberate. It is important to keep in mind that slowing down and reflecting is not about procrastination or indecision. Rather, it is about cultivating deliberate choice, which is the foundation of clear thinking and responsible action. By incorporating these practices into your life, you will cultivate the wisdom and composure necessary to navigate the complexities of the world with greater clarity and purpose. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. Embrace the pause, engage in mindful reflection, and watch as your decision-making process improves as a result of your efforts. Embrace logic and reason. We have reached the 6th lesson. Have you ever attempted to locate your way through a turbulent sea without the use of a compass? The situation may be difficult. When we make decisions solely based on our feelings, it can sometimes cause us to make decisions that are not in our best interests. The Stoics, who advocated for reason and logic, were aware of this potential risk. The belief that reason was the key to clear thinking was based on the fact that it assisted in distinguishing between judgment and emotions. When it comes to exercising clear thinking, why is it so important to embrace logic and reason? However, despite the fact that emotions have the ability to enrich our experiences, they also have the potential to cloud our judgment, leading us to make rash choices, skewed interpretations, and biased perceptions. Incorporating logic and reason into our thinking allows us to access a number of benefits, including the following. Acknowledging the existence of emotional biases. Emotions frequently set off unconscious biases that have an effect on our reasoning without our own conscious awareness. These biases can be identified and overcome with the assistance of logic and reason. Evaluating evidence in an objective manner, our feelings have the potential to influence our interpretation of evidence, causing us to select information that supports our pre-existing beliefs. Logic and reason enable us to conduct an objective analysis of the evidence, take into account all of the perspectives on a matter, and arrive at conclusions based on the facts. The ability to recognize flawed reasoning patterns can be clouded by our emotions, which can make it difficult to identify logical fallacies. We are equipped with the tools necessary to recognize logical fallacies and to protect ourselves from being misled by inadequate arguments thanks to logic and reason. Having the ability to make decisions that are well-reasoned when our feelings take control, our decisions frequently become rash and lacking in perspective. With the help of logic and reason, we are able to take a step back, carefully consider our options, and select a course of action that is in line with our long-term objectives and principles. Nevertheless, by embracing logic and reason, one does not necessarily mean to completely disregard feelings. These data points are extremely valuable because they provide insights into our values, needs, and desires. The important thing is to recognize their presence while at the same time not allowing them to control our decisions. To achieve this equilibrium, the following are some steps that can be taken. Your emotional triggers can be identified by reflecting on situations that cause you to experience intense feelings. When you have a better understanding of these triggers, you will be able to anticipate their influence and respond in a more reasoning manner. Label your feelings when you are experiencing intense feelings. It is important to name them and express gratitude for their presence. This uncomplicated action has the potential to establish a distance between you and your emotions, thereby enabling you to observe things in a more objective manner. You should seek out different points of view by having conversations about your thoughts and emotions with people you can trust and who can provide you with objective feedback and challenge your emotional biases. Hold off on making a decision when confronted with emotionally charged circumstances. Fight the urge to react right away. It is important to give yourself some time to calm down, gather information, and reason logically before making a decision. The cultivation of a harmonious relationship in which emotions inform but do not control your thinking is the goal of embracing logic and reason. It is important to keep in mind that this is not the same thing as suppressing emotions. You are able to navigate the complexities of life with greater clarity, purpose, and well-reasoned decisions when you use the map of your emotions in conjunction with the compass of reason. This wise statement was made by Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, who said, "It is not the event itself that troubles us, but our views about it. Choose your views wisely, based on logic and reason, and chart a course toward a future that is both fulfilling and meaningful." Be wary of being emotionally hijacked, which is the seventh lesson. When you are sailing a ship, have you ever been caught off guard by a sudden storm? There is a decrease in visibility, the wind howls, and the waves crash. Your vessel may be thrown around, and you may be at the mercy of the elements if you are not adequately prepared for the storm, which can quickly take control of the situation. In a similar vein, when our feelings are strong and uncontrolled, they have the potential to take control of our thinking, which can result in us making rash choices and making decisions that are not accurate. Stoics were experts in self-control and clear thinking, and they were well aware of the danger that they were putting themselves in. Those individuals held the belief that our emotional tyrant had the ability to temporarily depose our rational mind, which could lead to actions that we might later come to regret. Why does emotional hijacking pose such a huge risk to one's ability to think clearly? When our feelings are intense, the amygdala, which is the brain's alarm system, takes control and shuts down the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that is responsible for reasoning and logic. The purpose of this instinctual response is to ensure our immediate survival, but it has the potential to mislead us in our day-to-day lives. In this manner, having trouble making decisions, our feelings have the potential to cloud our judgment, which can lead to us making hasty decisions that we may come to regret in the future. In our anger, We may say things that are hurtful to others, make hasty decisions regarding our finances, or act in ways that are detrimental to our relationships. Interpretations that are skewed our feelings have the ability to distort our perception of reality, causing us to imagine things to be either worse or better than they actually are. We have a tendency to overreact to relatively minor setbacks, to personalize neutral comments, and to leap to negative conclusions without sufficient evidence. Conflict can be fueled by emotions that are not managed properly, which can lead to arguments, misunderstandings, and relationships that are strained. We might say things that are hurtful, behave in a defensive manner, or completely stop communicating with one another. How then can we prevent the hijacking of our emotions and reclaim our position as the dominant thinkers? As a result of their emphasis on self-awareness and the regulation of emotions, the Stoics provide some helpful tools, including the following. Mindfulness: we can cultivate the ability to recognize our feelings as they come to the surface by regularly engaging in the practice of mindfulness meditation. By cultivating this awareness, we are able to observe our feelings without passing judgment on them and then decide how to react to them. Our ability to lead in a calm and deliberate manner is enhanced as a result of this space that is created between the stimulus and our reaction. Deep breathing: when you are feeling overwhelmed, simply taking a few slow, deep breaths can do wonders for healing. The activation of the parasympathetic nervous system has the potential to reduce the fight or flight response when it comes to promoting relaxation. There is evidence that this method can assist individuals in calming down and alleviating anxiety. It can help to calm both the body and the mind, which in turn enables more rational thought and a sense of peace. We are able to challenge negative thought patterns that fuel emotional reactions through the process of cognitive restructuring. We are able to de-escalate the intensity of our emotions by reframing our thinking and asking ourselves questions such as, is this thought accurate? Are there alternative perspectives? What evidence supports this thought? Taking a step back: if we feel that our feelings are taking control of the situation, we have the ability to physically or mentally remove ourselves from the situation. We could go for a stroll, listen to some soothing music, or participate in an activity that will help us relax. During this time, our feelings are able to calm down, and we are able to think more clearly when we return to our normal routine. Always keep in mind that emotional hijacking is not a sign of weakness, rather, it is a natural response that people have. In spite of this, we are able to regain control of our feelings and cultivate clear thinking even in the midst of the storms that life delivers if we are aware of the risks and equip ourselves with the tools that are available to us. And as Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, reminds us, the object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to be on the side of the truth. When we have control over our feelings, we are able to remain true to our principles, make decisions that are in our best interests, and navigate life with a greater sense of clarity and purpose. Therefore, let us take charge of our own lives, weather the storms of our emotions with dignity, and direct our thoughts toward a journey that is brighter and more filled with fulfillment. Putting active listening into practice is the 8th lesson. No matter how skilled you are, if you are presented with a puzzle that is missing pieces, you will not be able to solve it. This is because you need to have the full picture in order to solve the puzzle. Similarly, in order to successfully navigate the complexities of life, it is necessary to have an understanding of a variety of perspectives. Active listening is the key to unlocking these essential pieces of the puzzle. The Stoics, who are well known for their emphasis on open communication and clear thinking, have acknowledged the significance of this exceptionally important ability. The esteemed philosopher Epictetus once stated, "A wise man must learn how to argue on behalf of his own opinion without malice towards those who oppose him." This statement highlights the significance of active listening not only for the purpose of defending our own viewpoints, but also for the purpose of truly comprehending the perspectives of others. What are the reasons why attentive listening is so important for clear thinking? During the fast-paced world that we live in today, We frequently find ourselves falling into the trap of passive listening, which is when we hear words but fail to comprehend their actual meaning. It is possible that this will result in misunderstandings, lost opportunities for learning, and even conflict that is not truly necessary. However, active listening goes beyond merely hearing what is being said. One must make a concerted effort to concentrate on the person who is speaking, abstain from becoming distracted, fix one's gaze on the person who is speaking, and provide them with undivided attention, which includes paying attention to their body language and the tone of their voice. Engage in empathy with the person who is speaking and make an effort to comprehend their point of view, feelings, and experiences, even if you do not agree with them. By doing so, genuine connections are fostered and the door is open to a more profound comprehension. In order to ensure that you have a complete understanding of the meaning conveyed by the speaker, it is important to ask questions that will clarify the situation. As a result, this not only demonstrates your interest but also encourages the speaker to elaborate, which ultimately results in a more complete picture of their point of view. Try to refrain from interrupting and fight the urge to share your thoughts or opinions with the conversation. It is important to avoid obstructing the flow of communication and to allow the speaker the opportunity to fully express themselves. Take some time to think about what you've heard after you've finished listening to it, and then summarize what you've heard. Provide a concise summary of the main points that the speaker made in order to demonstrate that you understand them and to encourage further conversation. Through the implementation of these practices, active listening enables the implementation of a number of benefits, including improved problem solving, increased understanding, decreased conflict, and strengthened relationships. Keep in mind that active listening is not merely a skill, rather, it is a state of mind. Conversations should be approached with an attitude of intellectual curiosity, humility, and a genuine desire to gain knowledge from other people. As Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic philosopher, reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one if you want to see your world expand with clarity, empathy, and deeper connections. You should be an active listener who seeks understanding rather than arguments. Take the time to listen carefully, make use of your cognitive abilities, and make it a goal to actively comprehend every conversation in order to extract the valuable insights it contains. Clarity and precision are highly valued, as in the 9th lesson. Imagine you are trying to find your way through a thick forest using a map that is not clear and where every path appears to be uncertain and ambiguous. In a similar vein, in order to successfully navigate the complexities of life, one must possess clear thinking and precise communication skills. The Stoics, who are well known for their emphasis on reason and logic, placed a high value on this principle. It is also comparable to a blade that has been sharpened and can cut through ambiguity. While Seneca, a Roman philosopher and statesman, was once quoted as saying, "The shortest and surest way is to lay the cards on the table," he was highlighting the significance of clarity and precision in both thought and communication. For the sake of clear thinking, why is it so important to place a high value on clarity and precision? We are able to avoid misunderstandings, ineffective problem solving, and diminishing our credibility when our thoughts and language are expressed in a clear manner. Misinterpretations and lost opportunities for connection are two outcomes that can be brought about by communication that is murky. It is possible that others require assistance in comprehending our genuine intentions, which can result in frustration and conflict. Having a lack of clarity in our thinking makes it more difficult for us to determine the underlying causes of issues and come up with viable solutions. There is a possibility that we will only treat the symptoms rather than addressing the underlying problem, which will lead to ongoing struggles. The last point is that language that is ambiguous can undermine our confidence and authority. We command respect and make a more significant contribution to conversations when we are able to articulate our thoughts and feelings in a way that is both clear and precise. Improvements can be made to our thought processes and the manner in which we communicate information through the implementation of certain steps. First things first, before we get into the more complicated issues, we need to define some important terms and concepts. A second benefit of using language that is straightforward and easy to understand is that it allows us to break down complex concepts into smaller, more manageable chunks. Thirdly, by providing specific examples, we can make our thought processes more approachable to the audience. In the fourth place, we can respond to the responses that other people have given to our communication by soliciting feedback from them and asking clarifying questions. Before we speak, it is essential to take a moment to gather our thoughts rather than feeling rushed to fill every silence with words. This is because it is essential to avoid feeling rushed. When we place a high value on clarity and precision, we can reap a number of benefits, including improved problem-solving abilities, enhanced communication, sharper thinking, and increased credibility. Understanding is increased, relationships are strengthened, and productive collaboration is made possible when there is clear communication between all parties involved. We are forced to engage in critical thinking and to recognize potential areas of ambiguity in our thought process when we are required to define terms, break down concepts, and use specific examples. By expressing ourselves in a way that is both clear and precise, we project an air of self-assurance and authority, which in turn makes our ideas more persuasive. By precisely defining the issue at hand and employing language that is clear and precise, we are better able to determine the underlying cause of the problem and come up with solutions that are applicable. It is important to keep in mind that clarity and precision are not only essential components of effective communication, but also provide the foundation for clear thinking. Through the cultivation of this practice, we can improve our ability to navigate the complexities of life and empower ourselves and others to make sense of the world that surrounds us. Therefore, bring your thoughts into sharper focus, acknowledge the power of clear language, and watch as your ability to communicate and understand soars to new heights. Learn to embrace lifelong education, which is the 10th lesson. Think about a woodcutter who is tasked with cutting down a significant tree using a saw that is not very sharp. The task becomes more challenging, and the progress could be made more quickly. Learning new things on a consistent basis gives the mind the ability to navigate the complexities of life with clarity and agility, much like a sharp saw. It was the Stoics, who were known for their dedication to self-improvement, who had a strong understanding of this principle. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, strongly advocated for people to live their lives as if they were to live for another 100 years. He emphasized the significance of continuous education and personal development throughout one's lifetime. When it comes to clear thinking, why is it so important to embrace continuous learning? In the absence of physical activity, our brains, just like our muscles, become weak. It is possible that our capacity for critical and creative thinking will decrease as we become accustomed to the routines and perspectives that are familiar to us. Continuous learning, on the other hand, proves to be a powerful elixir that offers a number of advantages. In order to broaden your understanding of the world and to challenge your assumptions, you should broaden your knowledge base by exposing yourself to new ideas, different disciplines, and challenging perspectives. Because of this, your thinking is enhanced, and you become better able to connect ideas that at first glance appear to be unrelated, which increases your cognitive agility. It is beneficial to your mental acuity and flexibility to engage in activities that present a challenge to your mind. Some examples of such activities include learning a new language, solving puzzles, or participating in debates. Your cognitive muscles will be strengthened, which will improve your ability to analyze information, recognize patterns, and come to reasonable conclusions. We all have conscious and unconscious biases that can cause our thinking to be distorted, and it is important to challenge these biases. Continual learning affords individuals the chance to confront their preconceived notions and prejudices by exposing them to different points of view and encouraging them to engage in critical reflective thinking. This not only strengthens your intellectual humility, but also provides you with a more objective perspective through which to view the world. A mind that is not moving forward is a fertile ground for intellectual stagnation and boredom. It is important to stimulate curiosity and creativity. Continuous education, on the other hand, piques one's interest and provides the fuel for creative thinking. You are able to uncover latent potential and find novel approaches to resolving difficult issues as you progress through the process of exploring new ideas and challenging yourself. How exactly does one go about developing a passion for learning and incorporating it into their day-to-day activities? This is a list of steps that can be taken. Participate in learning on a daily basis. Devote even brief periods of time to the pursuit of knowledge. While you are on your commute, you could read articles on a variety of subjects, listen to podcasts, or enroll in online classes that interest you. Participate in stimulating conversations with friends and co-workers, join a book club, or participate in online forums that foster critical thinking. These are all examples of ways to seek out intellectual challenges. Participate in a social learning experience by talking about new concepts with your family, friends, or members of online communities. Enhancing understanding, fostering accountability, and sparking even deeper exploration are all outcomes that can be achieved by sharing your learning journey with others. If you want to step outside of your comfort zone, you should investigate fields that are unfamiliar to you, read books written by authors who have opposing viewpoints, or attend lectures on subjects that you know very little about. When you push the limits of your intellectual capabilities, you broaden your perspective and challenge the assumptions you have made. For the purpose of developing your critical thinking skills, you should devote some of your time to actively analyzing news articles, recognizing logical fallacies in arguments that you come across, or dissecting your own thought processes. By engaging in this deliberate training, your critical thinking muscles will be strengthened. It is important to keep in mind that continuous learning is not about amassing knowledge for the sake of gathering it. In order to propel yourself forward on a journey of intellectual exploration that will last a lifetime, it is important to cultivate a growth mindset, which is an insatiable curiosity. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, made the astute observation that we learn for life. Embrace this journey, sharpen your mental sword, and watch your capacity for clear thinking flourish in a world that is full of opportunities and challenges that are constantly evolving. You should therefore embark on this journey of learning throughout your entire life and observe how your mind transforms into a potent instrument that enables you to navigate the complexities of life with ever-expanding wisdom and clarity. Attention to yourself is the 11th and final lesson. It is comparable to attempting to cultivate clear thinking without taking care of your physical and mental well-being to cultivate a flourishing garden in soil that is devoid of nutrients. Stoicism, which was a philosophical school that advocated for self-mastery and holistic living, was aware of the significant connection that existed between the two. They held the belief that the foundations of genuine well-being and clear thinking are found in the practice of self-care and healthy habits. It was Epictetus, a well-known philosopher, who said, "Man is not disturbed by events, but by the views he takes of them." This sage advice emphasizes the significance of self-care in achieving optimal mental well-being. Because the mind and the body are not two distinct entities, but rather a complex intertwined system, it is essential to take care of yourself in order to make sure that your thoughts are clear. Every time one facet is negatively affected, the other facet is also affected. Taking care of both your physical and mental health can help you improve your cognitive abilities in a variety of different ways. Being deprived of sleep for an extended period of time can have a negative impact on cognitive function, making it difficult to concentrate, remember information, and think critically. A lack of emotional regulation, impulsivity, and poor decision-making are also potential outcomes of this condition. Your thinking can become dull, your memory can become weaker, and eating habits that are unhealthy can contribute to brain fog. Your cognitive energy, on the other hand, can be fueled for optimal performance by consuming a diet that is both well-balanced and abundant in brain-boosting nutrients such as omega-3 fatty acids. By leading an active lifestyle, we can ensure that the brain receives the necessary amount of blood, which in turn helps to strengthen neural connections and improve cognitive function. Regular physical activity, on the other hand, has been shown to enhance concentration, memory, and overall brain health, thereby creating an environment that is conducive to clear thinking. Make getting quality sleep a priority by ensuring that you get 7 to 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep every night. Establish a consistent sleep routine, develop a calming bedtime ritual, and avoid using electronic screens for 1 hour before going to bed. These are some of the practical steps that you need to take in order to cultivate an environment that is conducive to clear communication and thinking. Providing your brain with the nutrients it needs can help improve your overall health and well-being. Foods that are beneficial to the brain include fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins. To ensure that your cognitive function remains in peak condition, it is important to consume foods that contain omega-3 fatty acids, such as walnuts, fatty fish, and flax seeds. Maintain your level of activity. Devoting 30 minutes of your day to physical activity can assist you in accomplishing your objectives. You can make the experience more enjoyable by participating in an activity that you enjoy, such as going for a brisk walk, swimming, dancing, or playing a team sport. The cognitive function of your brain can be strengthened, blood flow can be increased, and stress can be reduced through regular exercise, which can result in a more focused and clear consciousness. In order to effectively manage stress, it can be helpful to practice relaxation techniques such as yoga, deep breathing, or meditation. These techniques can help improve mental clarity. Through the practice of mindfulness, you can gain an understanding of your feelings and thoughts without being judgmental. Having this knowledge enables you to identify negative thought processes that have the potential to influence your thinking and to replace them with viewpoints that are more objective. It is important to keep in mind that taking care of yourself is not an act of selfishness but rather an investment in your overall prosperity. You can cultivate a fertile ground for clear thinking, emotional resilience, and a life filled with greater clarity, purpose, and achievement by making self-care and healthy habits a priority in your life. Be someone who places a high priority on their own well-being, cultivates a healthy mind and body, and watches their capacity for transparent thinking blossom, which will lead them to a life that is full, fulfilling, and meaningful. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, gave the following advice: waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. B1. It is important to keep in mind that adopting these Stoic principles is not a one-time accomplishment, but rather a process that requires continuous effort. As you incorporate these teachings into your day-to-day activities, you will notice a shift in your perspective, an improvement in your capacity to face challenges with clarity, and a renewed sense of control over your thoughts and behaviors. Therefore, embark on this journey that will undoubtedly transform your life, cultivate your Stoic mentality, and unleash the full potential of your cognitive abilities.